choices that it's hard not to look past. What is real and what is fake, and the risk we have to take. Will we know what is throwing up our balance? We're trying to find ourselves without the defining words. We can no longer hold on to what only makes us hurt. We cannot sink into the dark. The vertigo is getting sharp. There's something greater than ourselves that we must reach for. Looking down from the heights that we have built all by ourselves. And there is fear of the unknown, but we cannot lose control when we feel like the world is against us. We're trying to find ourselves without the defining words. We can no longer hold on to what only makes us hurt. We cannot sink into the dark. The vertigo is getting sharp. There's something greater than ourselves that we must reach for. Now which way do we go is the question to ask. There are so many choices that it's hard not to look past. What is real and what is fake, and the risk we have to take. Will we know what is throwing up our balance? We're trying to find ourselves without the defining words. We can no longer hold on to what only makes us hurt. We cannot sink into the dark. The vertigo is getting sharp. There's something greater than ourselves that we must reach for.
Hello everybody and welcome to the Fel Cup. We're starting out the first broadcast here for myself and Brunj, and we're coming on into what is going to be a control to start us off. Control, escort, assault, and hybrid is the order that things are going to be going down in today, and players are getting ready to jump on into this.
And of course, it's important to mention that it is a best-of-5 format, round robin. First team out of the group is going to get a guaranteed spot in the finals. There's a lot on the line. 10,000 euros is the total prize pool. And both of these teams here, we have on the blue hand side, first of all, we do have the NYYRIKKI Esports, which is running their older roster in the NYYRIKKI Esports Ice, I believe. Coming in as their official one right now. Looking very strong in the open division versus in red, MANSE PP Esports.
Yeah, indeed. We got the NYYRIKKI Ice squad, like you said. That's their old academy. But due to recent lineup changes, they're taking over. And a little bit of aggression to come down here. This could get a little bit dangerous as iRocket already manages to take out Soldier. But we've had some damage coming in. Virtus on the Pharah has been eliminated, chased down very quickly. The dive comp's working perfectly for NYYRIKKI.
So far, it's looking like a different flavor at it too. We've seen the heavy emphasis, especially when you look at the Overwatch League, at comps around that Hammond, which we currently see on Lepa for the side of MANSE Esports. Whereas here, if you look at NYYRIKKI, they're sitting comfortably with iRocket and of course Aki in the front line, and you have somebody like Snap and Mina Tao to deal with the likes of the Pharah Mercy combo.
Yeah, still rocking the Pharah Mercy as well. Maybe just waiting for that ultimate to come through. See if the Rocket Barrage is going to grant them a little bit of damage, but it's just getting a bit dangerous as iRocket dives on in. Already boosted up. He's not there to deal with the Tracer. That's causing quite a bit of havoc as we speak. And there it is. Eventually the EMP combination to go through. Virtus doesn't drop the barrage though.
That's going to be a bit of a problem because right now we will have retaliation. The tag visor actually used from the blue hand side, but it still kills going in favor of MANSE as finally the Rocket Barrage comes in to seal the deal and point flipped back into favor of MANSE this time around. But they had to commit all of their respective ultimates, and I was in close attention on NYYRIKKI's side as to what the Soldier can really do to answer some of those calls, considering, like you said, that the Rocket Barrage was not committed initially. So a small window of opportunity was missed there, but overall, very nicely executed by MANSE to secure that point in their favor.
Yeah, the only concern really is the fact that, like you said, they've wasted all their ultimates going in there. And the Rocket Barrage just to take down an Ana may be a little bit excessive. As NYYRIKKI come in, they're about to hit some of their ults. They've got Sound Barrier on the verge of coming through. And okay, Lep is in a bit of trouble. He's just been hit by a Bio Grenade as well. They're not focusing towards him just yet, though. Happy to push over towards the point to see if they can do anything. We'll allow Leopard, I suppose, get healed up in the back lines. Dive bomb going on through. That could be dangerous, as Virtus is going to be taken down straight afterwards. Lepa and Napalm follow, and this is pretty much a lost point. I don't see a way for MANSE to come back into this.
And that was really enabled from the side of Snappy on the Ana, to be honest, because he landed a sleep start. He just made it sure that he could also connect it with a Bionade afterwards and made sure that Lepa was pretty much useless for all that fight. Everyone couldn't really converge onto the point, so it was all about NYYRIKKI Esports getting that cap back in their favor, and now committing that nano boost again onto iRocket. He's going to be going for that backline, but with only D.Va to support, he can't really do too much. However, now contesting that Soldier is going to push him out, and that's one ult traded for one.
And the 1-for-1s. Virtus still has got himself the Rocket Barrage and the EMP back up again. This time, maybe going to be used in unison. There it is. There's going to be no defense matrix to save them. NYYRIKKI torn apart. Cloud goes down. A D-Mech Diva is very quickly swept up by Napalm. And although Lepa is going to fall, oh, that Soldier ultimate, will it be able to actually pull it back? Because Rocket is still around here to tank some of that damage and get rid of the likes of the Tracer. Oh, lordy lord. Down goes the Pharah Mercy combo. Just within a second of each other, and Tracer shouldn't be able to get up to too much, actually delaying the point without the Rocket being removed.
Exactly, or just at the very least gonna allow his team to go back onto the point now, especially with those mines being set up. Will that be enough? However, no, it's a double kill and point and objective at that secured here for NYYRIKKI. Great start of the tournament for them, and I gotta say, right now, Snappy is looking like the hero of this team because with his sleep darts connecting so many times, it's made Lepa's life miserable. He really didn't have any space whatsoever, especially when you commit to this type of comp. You don't have somebody like a Diva or somebody like a Zarya to back you up if you go in, dive in deep, and if just one support shuts you down like that, you probably need some adaptations, either being your approach or your team composition.
Well, both teams rocking different compositions for now, but obviously it can change right before they leave. So we gotta wait just a couple seconds before we confirm what's going down. Wainatsu indeed gonna be swapping over to the McCree. Other than that, we're seeing a relatively similar setup, and we'll see what Snappy can do. As the red team of MANSE are trying to make their way in towards another Pharah Mercy combo. It didn't work out too well previously. You can see the damage that they're doing, or the effectiveness of this. As Manatsu keeps on dealing damage to Pharah, she's instantly healed back up. Lepa gets lit, but he's able to get out of there fairly safely. Try to aggress a little bit further and just constantly keeping MANSE back. They now have to push in. Maybe not so comfortable as they do. The Winston, oh, he's actually getting completely destroyed by Lepa. His health down, not able to get too much done. Eventually going to be finished off by Kapu, who was swinging around the point itself. Not a great start, really. Only down one bite right now, but it looks like Ak was on the verge of being DMAC. But again, it's Snappy in the backlines to keep him alive.
Oh, just so much healing coming through is going to allow, at the very least, the nano boost being used. Endpoint will be secured. It's a 1-for-1 trade, but look at those ultimates. Virtus is going to be all up to him, and what he can do with the Rocket Barrage. Again, he says, no, Snappy, I'm going to have a bone to pick with you, as he kills him first, but nothing else in return. However, now, the nano boost is used on the side of... What? Sabra? Okay, well, the follow-up is there too, and with the EMP, with those hacks, it's still not going to be enough. Somehow, Cloud finds their return kill, but eventually, we should see MANSE capturing the point.
Okay, so we've seen Barrage onto just a lone Snappy with no one around to help, and now a Nano Boost onto a Sombra. Certainly interesting strategies coming out from Snappy, or from MANSE. This is going to be... I suppose actually here, Anatek's doing a pretty good job. He's delaying the point a little bit. He dropped his sound barrier only for himself, but kept himself alive the whole time. As they eventually managed to regroup over there and push MANSE out. They're going to claim a little bit more percentage on the point before they lose it. Their ultimate's also starting to build up. I mean, iRocket's on the verge of having his. Actually, nobody else is. So it's not an ideal situation.
It's not ideal, but even if you look at the other side, there's not much in their toolkit either for now. So if I'm looking at both of these teams, NYYRIKKI is definitely the favorite here, as they have had the overall better team play and coordination, I gotta say. Just seems like MANSE hasn't been on the same level so far, because yes, they capitalized on some of the mistakes, like iRocket pushing in too far, but it wasn't quite enough, and now with the help of that nano boost, he's gonna be on the hunt for the Ana of all targets. This could be really bad for him if the sleep dart could connect, but doesn't find that target. Instead, Minato, who's still fragging on that DPS.
Yeah, Mercy wasn't quite there to help out the Pharah, and now things start to fall apart because with 87% and plenty of ultimates, they're being pushed, literally pushed, all the way back to their spawn. Virtus is going to try to make a move over here, but 95%, they've got to make a touch happen pretty soon. Just straight rushing in is the only opportunity, and it's Lepa to find that tap. He's going to be swinging around the point, but this is not too good. EMP goes in, actually, so now Virtus, if he can get over there in time, could be able to drop the Rocket Barrage and deal the damage. Not going to come through just yet, and eventually the EMP is obviously going to fade away. Defense Matrix there to kind of counter Virtus. Oh, that's going to be a little bit awkward. The high noon coming through, but instantly countered as Lacko was there to find that. Now Virtus going to come on in, finds one with the Rocket Barrage, and his second as well. Snappy's out of play. This could be it. The kills that they needed with 4 on the board. Surely now there's no defense left for NYYRIKKI Esports, and indeed, the point is going to be capped.
Oh, but that was such a desperate take. It took everything out of the side of MANSE, and now the problem they face is the fact that not only do they have to capture this point and not lose any following team fight, but that's only going to bring them to a 1-1 here on Oasis. So things are not looking too good, especially when on the other side you already have 4 ultimates available. iRocket should surely charge up his relatively soon. And now with the self-destruct, it's actually going to be that first kill going through onto Hepa.
A huge pick by taking down that Mercy. Virtus is now so much more vulnerable. You're relying on the Ana to get the heals in, and that's very unlikely to be consistently coming through, especially when you're up against a McCree that's hitting the shots. A sound barrier already going down, so NYYRIKKI are in a huge position right now. Again, you're going to see the EMP coming through from a nano-boosted Sombra. And nothing to really come on the back of it just yet, as both Cloud and Eka find the kills, capturing the point. The overtime is being kicked in, and okay, we are going to have the Sombra contesting it for a little bit, making that time matter for a while. Virtus gets taken back up by Mercy, but I mean, okay, I really think that was a desperate one. That's maybe a little bit too far away, but look, with Mercy gone, what really could he do? If he went in, he was going to be taken down almost immediately. You've got a Winston there, and of course the McCree as well, that would easily take down a barraging Pharah. And as time ticks on, you've less and less time between these overtime ticks. It's eventually going to go the way of NYYRIKKI. It was inevitable as they take point number 1.
Very nicely executed, and you gotta say, overall, when it comes to the team play, because that's the name of the game with Overwatch, NYYRIKKI is just a step ahead of the competition. And MANSE, I really want to see them adapt ever so slightly in terms of their approach, because overall, hasn't looked too bad. It's just that Lepa doesn't seem to have the necessary support that he would require when he does those dives. And I gotta ask, especially, what Napalm's target of choice there with the Nano Boost? Why do you keep using it on that Sombra? Your Hammond definitely needs it more than that Sombra.
Yeah, for sure. No, it's a really weird choice going through. Certainly an odd one. I think maybe towards the end, the logic was that as you came over towards the point, the Sombra was obviously going to get a little bit of tanked extra HP, and she was the only one there to contest. So the longer she could stay alive, the better the chance they make it in. But again, the rotation time of Hammond isn't that much slower. And I feel like she could have definitely delayed by the time the nano boosted Hammond came over, and maybe it would have swung things their way. Still, even when MANSE did take the point, I mean, they have to hold on for so long. If you lose one team fight without there being a stagger there, you're done. You're not going to be able to take it. And that's the real problem for them. They needed to start fighting earlier, not towards the latter stages.
Especially with their aggressive composition, because when you compare and contrast, that's what that comp is supposed to do, and that's how it's supposed to play. It's supposed to be aggressive, in your face, split up the backline, especially when you have something like a Pharah, a Tracer, and just in general this dive-oriented comp. So again, hope to see them bring it back with something like the escort map, which is coming up. This is where some of those team strategies could come into play heavier. It's less about the individual skill as it was on Control, where we saw especially Snappy being the MVP in my eyes with the way he was positioned, made sure he had those nano boosts at the right time. Sleep darts were beautiful, and of course the bionates to connect on that main tank every single time he dived in.
Yeah, it was something that Lacko tried to do a couple times, was take down Snappy. He even actually managed to connect a hack onto him after Hammond had come over and boosted into him, taking down a little bit of HP. The hack went in just before Snappy could get the health up, and yet still Snappy was able to stay alive, and it was because of A, his positioning, the ability to get out of there fast whenever he started to take a little bit of damage and couldn't drop his bio grenade, and B, just the movement. He kept jumping around, jumped down lower, hit underneath the bridge, Sombra chased down, he was able to just keep on dodging those shots until the bio came back up, throw his bio down. At that point, I think Winston had already come back to help out in the fight and keep Snappy alive. And it's not only Snappy himself, obviously, I definitely agree, MVP for that entire last 2 points, but also the fact that the team reacts well. As soon as Snappy is in danger, they come back and they play around him because they know that that's really the most important aspect. The fact that obviously as well they were finding the picks onto Hepa. As soon as Hepa went down, the chances for MANSE pretty much fell apart because, like I said, you're relying on Napalm to be hitting those heals, and he just can't heal your whole team, especially not when you have like a Sombra, a Tracer. You've got a Wrecking Ball, you've got a lot of fast-moving parts already, and then you've got a Pharah jumping up in the sky that's been hit by a McCree.
And you also have to take into consideration, of course, the barrier the opposition brings to the table, or the Matrix from D.Va that could also pose a problem to those projectiles. So there's a lot of problems, definitely. for Anna when it comes to those situations. But now we have been moved on to Italy, our second map right now on the defensive side. A very sneaky approach here, Mitch. I like this.
Yeah, this is really nice. I've seen this a couple of times. They're just going to boost on in there with Lucio, but May walled off. They're still able to get on through, so it's not too big of a deal. Trapping them off in their spawn, trying to win this early fight right away. They've got to get rid of the Immortality Field, though. That's going to be a big problem because it's up behind the wall, so they've got to push all the way around before doing anything with that. And this fight, that Immortality Shield could have actually saved them because it kept the likes of Lepa alive for a little bit longer. Now that shield is doing a lot to protect them as they're fighting around it. NYYRIKKI already take the first loss, and that's iRocket. That's not, you do not want to be losing your Ryan in this point. Oh, this is bad. This is the fight lost at this point. It was a brave attempt, but not one that's been fruitful.
But this is where Manse's read was much superior because that combo, I mean, I didn't expect to see it in pro play. It's something we see in those trailers for the characters rather than actual execution, but beautifully done to make the right read considering their opponents went for something that the Finns are definitely famous for. Even if you look back at Ninjas in Pajamas, they were the prime team to run that quad tank composition, and unfortunately for this NYYRIKKI side, it didn't work, but swaps are coming through and already being punished because, as you said, with that Immortality Field and everything else in between, it's just making their life so difficult right now.
That's the big play right now, the Immortality Field with the Orisa Shield. It's very hard to get behind it and actually finish any of these guys off. And they can take fights out in the open, it doesn't matter. Here goes a dive bomb in up behind. That's going to cause some damage as iRocket and Aka both go down. The Mercy, even trying to avoid it, ends up falling into the water. I think she was able to get to the edge, but decides to reset anyways, and it's definitely a good decision, as we are going to see them just group up now over towards the spawn and come back out as a team, see what they can do. We're going to see a Bastion setup to try and make this defense on checkpoint number 2.
All right, so we'll see what they can do with it. I mean, the interesting point as well on the offensive side is the fact that Virtus has been on that main. That is a key pick when it comes to sectioning off tanky members, especially versus gold style compositions and the quad tank composition, but he's still sticking with it for now. He does have that blizzard available, so we'll see whether or not that's gonna happen because what? Okay, I mean, I was expecting the other side, but somehow Minotaur from downtown manages to pull 3 members of the offensive side and single-handedly stops them dead in their tracks for their first team fight win here.
What? I mean, what a way to win a fight. Just drag them all into the water. Why not? That was really nice by Minatsu. And now as we come into what will be the next fight, the high ground's already obtained. So that pick is actually, are those picks, right? Because 3, I mean, it's so unusual to see.
Yeah.
It's really important because now they're able to defend from above as that payload slowly moves backwards. It's very hard to get across this bridge. It's so open. Cloud manages to take down Lepa already. Okay, yeah, you've got to make coming up behind, but I mean, how much can you really expect from her? Her whole team are just being picked apart as they attempt to cross over. Really, you want to see the, I guess, a Rhine come out here, but even at that, you're going to see Cloud easily wipe that Rhine out of existence. Look at this sneaky Virtus. He's creeping on over to the point, maybe hoping that they won't notice. And as of yet, they haven't. Nobody's moving. One's on the point. There we go, eventually.
Okay, yeah, there we go. Finally, the call has been made. Took him a while, but perhaps this is Virtus just committing, saying, okay, if I can get a little bit of distance, and then even if I eventually die, I do want to use his ultimate, because that's what I think he's trying to do. He's just trying to get rid of that ultimate so he gets some amount of value out of it before he makes the swap to a composition that they would prefer. But now, actually, it's a lot committed. However, it's still Mance finally getting that kill. It's Cloud going down.
Snappy pops the Transcendence to at least keep everybody alive in the back of what was a pretty hefty fight from Mance, but they're really looking to sneak underneath and manage to get behind Cloud so that he had to force himself out of that position, trying to find somewhere to set up and get kills, but it doesn't look to be working just yet. Minatsu pulls them back so we can get around the corner and hopefully get to safety, but he's going to have to commit to this fight. There's no way out of there. And as he's eventually taken down, this is looking like a pretty convincing push. They should make the checkpoint now, as I don't think that we're going to have any time for NYYRIKKI to get in there and contest.
Rocket could do some, perhaps, dashing plays with the charge, but doesn't commit for it, and that's a smart play. You know when to pick your fights, and that was definitely not one you wanted to pick if you are NYYRIKKI. And now, at the very least, they still have free ultimates on their, or rather, on their side, whereas on the offense, they have free to answer, and the Blizzard coming up for Virtus again, who I initially thought it was going to make a swap out of that mate, but still sticking with it. So far, though, it's Cloud getting that first kill onto the opposing Bastion. The follow-up self-destruct is not going to get anything else, though.
No, it is not, but watch the one coming in. Oh, there we go. Down goes Virtus. It's only going to be some of the equipment that's taken out of the back of it. I saw the 3 coming in. I was a little bit excited. You got a Bastion just sat in the open. This is prime ground for Rocket to go in and take down. It's actually Manatsu that connects the final couple of shots. And at this point, the shields are looking a little bit too good over on the NYYRIKKI side, focusing on the Immortality field. It's eventually going to be taken down. Now they've got projectile advantage as well, pushing them on through that shield. iRocket's able to take down Lepa after already fire striking, and things are looking good. A little bit of a decent defense. Cloud now has the opportunity to switch off the Bastion if he wants. But the fact that they've regained control over that payload, I think means they can just play it as if they're attacking. Post him up there with the shields alongside. They should be able to get some decent damage done, especially considering the fact that I just feel like alongside that Bastion, we're going to see Anatech doing a really good job now with Immortality fields. There's lots of corners that you can hide them around and keep Bastion alive even if the shields do get breached.
And the beautiful thing that I absolutely love to see right now is the way they've been using those simplification matrices too, to make the most of them, get the maximum amount of value, but now set up, as he said, around the corner with that Immortality field is just going to enable again that Bastion to just chew through those shields, and with the ultimate coming up as the follow-up, he's going to go on the hunt, but the Transcendence is the answer.
Indeed it is, just making sure the tank can do barely anything, but eventually Snappy's going to be caught on the other side of an ice wall and taken down. Virtus follows it up onto Cloud as well, and the impact from Virtus right now in these fights is incredible. He's also got a Blizzard, so he can keep them back and get the payload all the way home. This should be it on the back of a quick Blizzard down from Virtus.
Oh, especially since... yeah, especially since the wall is there too, another exceptional tool to make sure they section off the rest of the defensive team for coming in and contesting. But so far, even though they get a couple of those, I think, actually, did they even get a kill? No, they only got the D-suit off. It's been actually all about MANSE carrying it all the way till the end. So if you discount that halt that got a triple kill and stopped them, I think it was basically just MANSE Esports winning on Rialto. Team fight after team fight, but credit to where credit's due. NYYRIKKI made it a little bit more difficult there at the end and made sure that they got them down to 1 minute and 27 seconds.
Indeed, 127, it's not the worst in the world to work with. I think in Rialto, making it all the way to the end is definitely allowed. We're rocking a lot of Baptiste setups, and I do like that. I like to see him being used a little bit early on, even though he's a fairly fresh character. I think there's already been a fairly well-established meta for him at this point. The Immortality field is basically one of the most important aspects of the character, and if you're placing them right, you saw there were a couple of fights there where you're lighting up players, they're down on low HP, but that Immortality field is around a corner, and if you want to destroy it, you have to aggress. The best example was the very first fight in the spawn, where it was put behind the wall, and if they wanted to destroy it, they would have had to push in where all 6 players could focus on them. All the while, the healing was happening onto these players that were low, so it's a super difficult position if you're trying to push them down and they have some ground to play with.
And another exceptional play came through on the side of Virtus. The way he used that Mei, is especially those ice walls, really to make sure his team got the advantage in those fights and somehow maneuvered the Immortality fields around it too and everything else in between. Made it look very nice for them. But now we are swapping over sides. It's a different approach on defense as well, with that Pharah Mercy coming in again, but I'm not so sure about that one because Baptiste alongside Mercy are potentially going to struggle when it comes to making sure they keep their team healthy.
Yeah, all grouped up inside a room at least, so that should make it a little bit easier for Baptiste because he can just keep on hitting those pellets alongside his group healing. But the thing is, at the moment, we see a little bit of a switch coming in. Okay, Ake is going to be taken over to a Sombra. You've got Manatsu as well on a Hanzo. And Cloud rocking on in on the Pharah. Hard enough characters for that Bastion to hit, with the exception of Cloud, who's just going to be playing around the buildings to keep himself alive. For a second, I thought Mercy was about to fall into the water. She left it very late to boost up to Cloud.
Oh, but there, Lepa caught out of position, means that he's going to go down. Hepa will follow too, and it's a 2-for-1 so far on the offensive favor, as NYYRIKKI is going to continue this push. Finally, we see a little bit of contention from the defensive side, but not a lot in terms of the defensive options themselves with those shields. Only the Matrix available right now. Napalm could potentially come in with that Immortality field, but still Hack finally times out, but kills are still going through. Easy for Hanzo, easy for Minatsu and the rest of his team, as they will continue on with the push, and a big advantage being built in their favor right now.
Absolutely. I think Napalm there was just a little bit premature in dropping over the Immortality field. Just before that fight came in, he had already dropped it out in the open. was a bit of a panic, and as a result of that, he couldn't drop it when they actually started pushing into the corner. Then the hack came through, which delayed it even further once it came online. It's all around just an awkward fight to be taken. Oh, pushing them right on back.
Oh no.
This is very awkward.
You hate to see that whenever the D.Va gobbles up that Dragon Strike. However, luckily for Minato, we're not going to have too much time to talk about that because it's still a team fight win in their favor. Hepa is going to fall. It's only Baptiste left, and not for long. Alongside that, D.Va as Lacquer will go down too. First point acquired, 4 minutes 28 seconds left, and more importantly, they only committed to 2 ultimates to achieve it. Only Rocket Barrage and Dragon Strike, but big ultimates like that EMP, and of course, the Transcendence are still available.
And that was a really quick defense matrix coming through from Lacko. Once I heard the Dragon Strike going down, I was a little bit scared. I thought that they were going to be pushed back from the checkpoint, and it reached instantly. I was looking around. I'm flying around the map going, where's it gone? Where is it? And Lacko was just way too quick on that. Then you got full ultimates in play, essentially, the exception of Napalm. And so this should be Manse's fight really to win. Oh, but the hack goes through, so not a whole lot of ults are going to be able to be popped out. Look at the immortality field is still in play right now, so it keeps a lot of them alive. Both Lepa and Kapu were on the verge of death, but kept up by that. Now you've got the tank coming through. Snappy does pop through with the Transcendence, but Anantech is caught outside of it, which means a Mercy goes down. A lot of healing already removed from this equation. As Ake takes down Napalm, it might be too little too late.
Oh, and that was looking so good for a second there for NYYRIKKI, but Kapu being the answer, the prime target there on that Bastion, able to pick out that Mercy, and of course the rest of the team afterwards made quick work of that fight. 3 minutes and 12 seconds left though, so quite a lot of time left in the table here for the attacking side of NYYRIKKI. Both support ultimates available on the defense though, and when you look at how well Napalm and even Anatech have used those amplification matrices so far on Rialto, I really want to see how they're gonna keep getting creative with them.
Right now as well, the time's run down quite a bit. I mean, we're on to 240 already now. They will get a little bit of a boost if they make it over to the last checkpoint. Second last. Okay, the fight's already coming in. That's a little bit awkward though, because Cloud gets taken down and instantly the kills start to be returned though. This time there's going to be absolutely no gobbling up that Dragon Strike, but it doesn't really connect anything on the back of it. As Anatech gets Cloud back up, we're going to see what more this Pharah can do. Nep is coming in with a revive as well though. That's Lepa back up, dropping the shield and delaying just a little bit longer, allowing for a retreat in for D.Va, who can't be hit for just a little bit longer. The heal's going to come in, and this could be good with the immortality field up as well. Manse are actually getting themselves back in this fight and contesting this checkpoint in what looked like it could have been all over. It was only a Mercy. She manages to pull it back. Lacko was on the verge of death, but the pulled back Lepa is able to recover it. And now, in actual fact, NYYRIKKI Esports are being pushed off of the payload.
Wow, talk about clutch plays there. That immortality field, bringing it back in their favor. And again, the approach coming out of NYYRIKKI is good. Cloud went in with that boob, made sure the tanks were out of position, made quick work with that Rocket Barrage too. And afterwards, it was easy for Ake to go in and hack Kapu. But now, it's a 1-for-1 trade. Virtus back on that Mei. However, the rest is going to come through. Big EMP connects onto 5 targets, but not onto Kapu, who just got back up. But it's 2 kills, now finally on the offensive side.
Huge EMP, and the problem is they have got no immortality field to keep them alive. We're going to see Kapu try to get himself the tank clutch play, but it doesn't work. And he is smashed out of this planet by iRocket. Now NYYRIKKI should make it at least the majority of the way to the checkpoint. I don't really see a way for them to come back in and recover this unless they had a Lucio in play. Man's kind of have to play passive here. Oh, Lepa's actually going in for it. Okay, so this could be it. They could actually make this push happen. Lepa's taking a lot of damage though, driving on into those balls, and then of course the Dragon Strike comes through and penetrates him to death.
Oh, they're still contesting though. They're still running on top of that payload. Virtus is gonna find 1 kill onto Ake, so one final small advantage on their end. But overall, it's all about the blue hand side. However, the res did come through. Lacko finds Snappy, so somehow through all this chaos, through all this mess, it's Menza who comes out on top.
Napalm with a really quick double, and I gotta say again, that was Virtus with the big plays, managing to find the opening kill and then even take it even further by healing himself back up to the point that he could drop his ultimate down, push them out a little bit, and the push came towards all the rest of the man's players, where Napalm was able to just pick them apart, trying to leave that blizzard. Although they've gotten out of the blizzard, there's no sunny skies ahead. because they've only got 5 seconds, and even to make it to the point in time requires iRocket to just suicide in there. He shouldn't last all too much longer as he goes down. Now it's onto the one final push. Already a man down. NYYRIKKI Esports are trying to make this happen. Oh, but it's not looking too good, as we're going to see Lacko pushing up behind. The Immortality field goes down. Not quite behind the wall, though, so it is going to be able to be picked off. Snappy comes in there with a Transcendence, but it's a little bit too early. So Capu's able to come in now with the Soldier Ultimate, the Visor, allowing him to hit all of the shots that he has vision on. Snappa eventually takes him down. iRocket's back in the fight. There goes the EMP. That's going to look a little bit better, as nobody's going to be able to deploy those ultimates, so we're still back up. Hepa's going to be pushed back. Actually gets a heal in just in time to contest this point.
Soul Destruct coming through is going to find iRocket again, and with that Immortality field still in play, it's just going to buy them enough time to come back in, storm right in at that, and get the win on Rialto, bringing us to 1-1 series. And Mitch, we definitely have our series on our hands.
Yes, we do. This is going to be a very interesting one, of course, moving over to Assault next. But you got to say, I know which one this is. I know what's coming, Brunch. This is going to be interesting. No. Look at that. Just good night and sweet dreams. Oh, that is not good. The triple. I mean, Hepa couldn't keep himself alive long enough. Couldn't float back over to the land or find anybody to shift over to, fly to the rescue and keep himself alive. But even despite the big plays we saw coming through for NYYRIKKI, altogether, that was MANSE looking really good on the defensive.
And I think it's also due to the fact that they just had the better plays and strategies around that Baptiste. Their positioning was superior when it comes to making sure they make the most out of the Immortality field. Yes, there were a couple of mishaps, like you mentioned in that corner, where he used it a little bit too early, but overall,